on your own then in the room full of
I
mannequins.
won't be in there by myself.
Shadows from the past, an air of secrecy, and cold and deadly phantoms. Kelvedon Hatch has much to offer, but will we meet any of its ghostly residents tonight?
Did you hear that?
I'm really freaked out.
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
To the left of you, there was...
Next time on Yvette and Carl.
Hello, love.
Hello, darling.
Yvette gets the measure of Carl,
34.
You're not according to this.
I am not a 40-inch waist.
while he gets excited about the
I
dress.
have no idea what it's going to be like, but I just know she's going to look beautiful in it.
The hen do heads to bingo.
They'll probably get in trouble.
I've just been told to be quiet.
And the stag lets his hair down.
That was better than sex.
Oh dear God.
Yvette and Carl, the stag and hen. Wednesday at 9, exclusive to Living.
Welcome back to Most Haunted. This innocuous bungalow set deep in the Essex woods hides a relic of the Cold War, a subterranean village known as Kelvedon Hatch Nuclear Bunker, a place reputed to be rife with paranormal activity. I'm hoping that medium Patrick Matthews, overseen by the ever-skeptical eye of Dr. Kieran O'Keefe, can contact some of the spirits that are said to remain here as we begin our lit walk-around in the sick bay.
I have a gentleman here, and it's interesting. What he's telling me, we're talking about what this is now or what it was made for, but we got to step back a little bit. And what I'm getting is he's connected, owner of the land, connected with the land, basically, of when this was to occur, okay? And I don't think he was happy. Obviously, where we are, a lot of land, a lot of commotion, if you will. And he wasn't happy at first that this was all occurring.
Right.
And he's like fighting. He's going like this. I'm fighting it. I'm fighting it.
So what time period are you talking about here?
When did this start? I mean, it was I would say 19, give or take 50.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe a little before that, because there was talk about, he pulls me, so it's recent. I gotta see if I'm getting this right, because, slow down, sir. Was it worth the sacrifice to save others and disrespect those who have already passed?
Right. And you
Because, I'm sorry, because he's saying, because I'm going with this, and he's saying about the digging, the discovery, and all of a sudden there were bodies discovered here.
Oh, okay.
And it was almost like a hush-hush type thing, or like a secret thing, or not talked about, he says, because he's going like this, like shh.
Right.
It wasn't so when they were building or putting this all together, there were burial grounds or something to that, burial of what? Either mass graves, war site of some type of battle that the people were here. They must have discovered bones.
Kathy, you hearing something?
It was...
Yes, I'm sorry, there's lots of, I don't know if you can hear it.
Whining.
There's lots of talking, like
whispering
loads of
or?
people in the background.
No, I can't.
Can you hear that, Carl? You went outside, it's
Yeah,
like that.
I went outside because I thought someone was talking.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
It was when Patrick was talking about the deeds and the whole sort of this whole builder thing. It seemed like I was talking out there. I went and there's no one there, and I came back and you were saying.
I was like, I was doing this again.
But it seems to be around here. It's weird. It's there, but you can't pinpoint exactly where it's from.
He said you will.
Oh, okay.
You will. I'm not talking with this gentleman yet, okay? It's almost like he's saying, following me, follow me.
This is the
We
same
will.
gentleman from upstairs?
No.
Oh, this is somebody different?
Somebody
So when
totally
you said he
different.
wanted to come downstairs,
Right.
this is a completely different person?
Correct. All of a sudden, this gentleman came to me, and he's screaming, and his face, like, like that. and it's like it's melted, like it was burnt.
Right.
And I hear like, psst, psst.
Okay.
And don't be surprised if we may not hear that later on too, but he's coming to me to tell me that he was burnt badly. But there's still, see, we're in this building, but they're still, again, talking about the history, or there was something that was uncovered that's more below.
Right.
Because right now they're showing me digging and digging. So I'm taking when they built this building or whatever, you know, this area, while they were digging, there must have been bodies found. Because I see digging, I see them holding up a bone.
Right.
And the bones that they found, the people, the spirits, were not pleased with the way they were handled. Okay?
Right.
That's why strange things occur. I had a person waving like this at me.
Okay.
So that's why there's been sightings and things like that.
I have to say, I hope, Patrick, that we're going to get more detail about the first spirit upstairs, because there's this strength that you're picking up over there, this on-running story about there's a burial ground or there's something down there, the bones, you're digging that up. But I'd like to get a little bit more about it later on, simply because the guy upstairs was upset about his land. It's almost like his land that we're dealing with.
Right.
The problem I have with it is, if the government knew this was burial land, if they knew that there were bones and stuff down here, they would have just moved half a mile to another area. This guy owned the land. Did he sell the land to them, or do you know what I mean? There's a lot of conflicting points that I'm getting.
When
here
you
that
start
I'm a little
talking about
confused
someone, that's good, and we don't have to be upstairs, downstairs. When you talk about him, I say, come to me if you can, if you want to communicate. He's here.
Right.
Let's answer some questions.
Did he sell the land?
He said, no. What? Forced. So, did he want to? Yes. No. Did he want to? No. Did he have to? Yes. What's that? I don't want to make a correction, but he keeps saying, it's almost, they took it, but he keeps saying, give it back, or gave it back. So, what do you mean you own it? He, not to get confused here, he owned it, he didn't own it, he owned it.
I get that. A lot of, I'm sure Leslie will back me up on this, that the Ministry of Defence would come and take land from people during, war or whatever, and then when they'd finished using it, they would give it back, or they were supposed to give it back to the people. I'm right there, Leslie, aren't I?
And they did.
Bought it on compulsory purchase
Yeah.
and let them buy it back very cheaply. Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
Right, okay.
Okay. Do you like this area? Is it good?
This is, well, no, that's the thing. It's almost to the effect where, because what I'm seeing is almost a visual trail of bringing out the dead.
Right.
The bringing out the bodies, the carrying of the bodies out here.
You're right. Okay. Are there any spirits, any energy at the moment? I know you're picking up on residual energy, but is there any particular one person, or is there a feeling that you get here?
The residual, keep in mind, I'm actually talking with the spirits, and they're showing me these things too. And the person, we're going to have to find out about the screaming man.
Right.
Because he seems to be really setting himself forward as wanting again.
Any questions?
One thing we haven't asked is, here and maybe some of the other areas, is the phenomena. We've just been asking about spirits.
Right.
Do you get a sense of what sort of phenomena people might experience in this area? You mentioned about the bodies being gathered.
Well, I'll tell you what, here's
that,
something.
or-
It's not only seeing it, Karen, it's temperature change, and it's almost like you can, this is going to sound weird because you have a long tunnel here, and all of a sudden you think, oh, half of it's one temperature, the other half is another. But what I'm getting is it's almost sliced in half, where your legs could be hot, cold, or the opposite.
Could Patrick's divining of the story about the chilling discovery of bones during the construction of the bunker provide a plausible explanation for the spiritual unrest here? I'm eager to switch to night vision. What more will we uncover in the darkness of this claustrophobic location?